on the Jets. You know, they've been able to leave teams behind in the dust, and that's what it felt like tonight. It felt like they just flipped a switch in those last 4 minutes. Jackson was a big part of it. You know, Murray was on the bench, and they were basically running those typical two-man actions that they run with Murray and Jokic, but they did it with Jackson, and you know, he was doing his best facsimile of Murray. And then at that point, it just created enough juice and separation that they had that extra kick, you know, down the stretch. And, you know, clearly it was a struggle for us to score. We had moments, and that's fine, actually, like if we could have kept it in the mud. But they had their burst, and then we stayed where we were, and that was basically the game.
I know it's kind of what Denver does, but what did they do to keep you guys off the three-point line for most of the night?
Yeah, you know, that is what they do. You know, to me it felt like we passed up some open threes. I don't think it would have been 43-point attempts, you know, but certainly, you know, it should have been 10, 12 more. Passed up open ones and then drove it into their size. You know, if you pass up, you know, some open ones, you're not going to get a better one. And there were definitely, you know, probably half dozen of those where we end up getting a worse shot by passing up one. You know, and that also keeps the defense honest. You know, you have to work all different aspects of your offense, and we weren't necessarily able to do that tonight, and that's a credit to Denver. I said that when we played them in Denver. They're one of the more underrated defensive teams, and since All-Star break, they've kind of turned it on that side of the floor. You know, so we couldn't get into our normal, you know, rhythm. Yeah, but yeah, we certainly needed to, you know, take a few more of them.
I suppose speaking of their defense, Jimmy only had 2 free throw attempts tonight. They've been a little down over the last 4 games or so. Like, is there a common thread there as to why?
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, I think that's an adjustment from the league. You know, staff has been talking about that. I didn't receive a memo about it, but it's clear that they're calling it a little bit more like that. So, hey, we have to make the adjustment, and I think that's a good adjustment. Go to score, not necessarily to you know, to draw fouls. Now, Jimmy's got a rugged game, so he's not going to draw fouls. He's going to wherever the contact may be. And, yeah, from my vantage point, it looks like some of those, you know, are fouls. You know, certainly in the last 3 or 4 games, that those are typically, you know, fouls, but that's not why we're losing games. He'll make the adjustment, you know, whether he has to just go into shot-making mode, that might have to be the adjustment. I have to do a better job, you know, getting our guys into their strength zones where we can still be aggressive and attack, but hit different parts of our menu. And we'll get to work on that. You know, yes, it's frustrating, but, you know, all we're going to focus on is what we can do to get better and have a great road trip.
Until those last 3 jumpers that Reggie made, it seemed like Bam was doing about as well as you can possibly do in terms of blowing up their bread and butter.
There's no one better than the league that can negotiate this. First of all, nobody will go toe-to-toe, minute for minute against Jokic other than Bam. Bam signs up for that, and he'll put himself out there and be vulnerable, you know, to the competition. That's the competitor of all competitors, and you know that just sets the tone. But it is difficult. You know, you have to negotiate so many different things. At the top of the floor, in the post, you know, they started to post them up a little bit more. And then once you start getting comfortable with that, go to the 2-man action. And then you have to do pick and roll basketball, you know, and then ball all of a sudden will go back to him. And then now you have to play, you know, him off the dribble and try to, you know, disrupt passing angles and all that. You know, but that's why Bam is Bam, you know. That's why I always say year after year he should be in the consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, because he can do things and will put himself out there to try to do things that the majority of the league won't, because it's easier just to not do it, because sometimes you're going to get beat. Jokic is a great player, and sometimes you're going to get scored on or foul, or you have player pick and roll defense, the ball goes back to him and he scores and somebody else didn't do their job. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. And they're a complex team. You feel like you have a handle on them. I mean, we still held them to 100. You feel like you have a handle on them, and then all of a sudden they can just separate. And those skirmishes, at this point, they do that, I think, better than anybody else in the league.